Vladimir Putin's plane lands. We are being told that plane has landed. So both of them are going to be greeting each other very, very shortly. The Prime Minister is exiting his car. And could we see both of them riding to his residence together? I think that is something that could be looked forward to, because in the past, the ride that both Putin and Modi shared became the talk of the town. So could something that be repeated on the streets of New Delhi? We'll wait and see. But these are fresh visuals coming in of the Prime Minister waiting to embrace, I'm guessing, his friend Putin. There could very well be a hug on cards and maybe, who knows, a shared ride. But these are, of course, visuals that are going to be watched very closely across the world. India is not pulling any stops as far as the welcome for Vladimir Putin is concerned. It is unfettered and unconcerned of the global eye on this visit to India. Ceremonial red carpet that has been rolled out for Vladimir Putin. Lots on the agenda, but what is really center stage is the friendship that these two nations have. And that friendship is not going anywhere, pressure from the West or NATO or not. That is going to be the signaling that both of these leaders are going to be doing as Vladimir Putin lands in India for his 30-hour visit. We are being told he has landed. Prime Minister is walking towards a certain direction now. We'll try and get a more clearer visual of what is happening there, but it seems like there could be a meeting inside. Let's see. He's gone inside some building. We'll see exactly what happens. But what we're getting to know is that President Putin's plane has landed at Palam Airport for his visit. The Prime Minister is there at the airport, almost on the tarmac, to receive his friend. And we're waiting to see exactly what transpires between these two leaders. They're going to go straight, mind you, to Prime Minister's residence, 7 LKM. And they're going to have a very private conversation there just between the two leaders. And there's going to be a dinner for the visiting dignitary at the PM's residence before the ceremonial activities begin tomorrow and all of the bilateral work happens tomorrow. There's going to be a quiet, very private meeting between the two leaders this evening. Could they share a ride together? We'll wait and see. Those pictures went viral, mind you, when they were sitting in a car together last time around. And this would be a great photo op if it happens once again. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi being there in person at the airport to receive Vladimir Putin, that in itself is, as they say, quote-unquote, breaking protocol. This is not how it's supposed to be. But Prime Minister has done this in the past when he wants to signal not just India's interest in a particular country, but also his personal relationship with the very many dignitaries that he has gone to the airport for. It has happened not just in New Delhi, but even in other states, in Gujarat, for example. And Siddhant, my colleague, also is continuing to be with us. Siddhant, any moment now, any moment, I think we could get visuals of the two leaders meeting.
Well, that's right, Shivani. In fact, you were mentioning about Prime Minister, an expert in extending special gestures. And whenever these two leaders meet, President Putin and Prime Minister Modi, there is something very unexpected that will happen. The bonhomie embraces, the hugs between the two leaders. In fact, if you talk about the Tianjin summit, Shivani, the way President Putin and Prime Minister Modi went together to meet President Xi Jinping, and then all the three leaders, had a brief conversation ahead of the plenary session. Then, as you rightly pointed out, right after the Tianjin summit, both Prime Minister Modi and President Putin drove in one car to the hotel for the bilateral talks. So this relationship, this bonhomie is very, very special. And also, Shivani, all this while, since the start of this conflict, many times President Putin has briefed Prime Minister Modi on Russia's position, on how Russia is going to pursue peace, the efforts Russia is giving for peace in Ukraine, etc., etc. So, there is definitely a comfort level between the two leaders. There is definitely a very good understanding between the two leaders, and this is the reason that last time around also when Prime Minister Modi visited Moscow, there was restrictive level talks between the two leaders. In fact, both leaders exchanged perspectives on Ukraine conflict. And also, Shivani, because of this comfort level only, Prime Minister Modi is the only world leader to be sitting next to President Putin and telling him, stop the war, children are dying. So this is exactly what Prime Minister Modi said when he visited Moscow last year in July. So that's the level of comfort, and Russia is always open to discuss anything related to Ukraine conflict or global scenarios with India. So, you know, to celebrate this bonhomie, to celebrate this relationship, this kinship, Prime Minister Modi has once again extended this special gesture of going to the airports by breaking all protocols and to receive his friend.
This is not the first time. This is not the
in
first
fact,
time, Siddhant. This is Anand here, and good evening to our viewers as we continue on into the right stand. Whether or not will these two leaders take the right stand in the interest of global peace, harmony, and of course the global south. More importantly, what will be the interest of Bharat and Russia? That's the big question, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi, like he did for the Saudi Arabia prince, like he did for Sheikh Hasina in the past, like he has done for special leaders, he has for Donald Trump. He has gone there to show to the world that Vladimir Putin and Bharat's equation with Russia is equally important for Bharat as compared to any of the other nations, be it in the friendly neighborhood or be it from the West. But this is a special gesture. Let's remember, Arun Dhanta is there at the airport. We also have Siddhant joining us right from outside 7 LKM, that's where they will actually make their way. We must remember at Tianjin, there was a very special gesture that was extended by President Putin, where he waited for 10 minutes in his Aurus Senat, and then he brought in and hosted Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his vehicle, in his security vehicle, and they drove around for an hour. The world watched when Prime Minister Narendra Modi sat inside President Putin's car, and President Putin actually waited for 10 minutes because Prime Minister Narendra Modi was held up at that time. Now, these are fresh visuals coming through. The red carpet has been laid out. Prime Minister Narendra Modi may walk up right up to the front along with the Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar. He will be there, and President Putin will step out of the special aircraft, the presidential aircraft. Now, we will have, that's Prime Minister Narendra Modi getting off the vehicle and greeting the people present. There is a special guard of honor right at the tarmac, and President Putin will get out of the aircraft any moment now, and we should have those pictures. This is indeed a big moment, and Siddhant and Arun Dhanta with us. Siddhant, weigh in on this. The Bharat Dosti, you know, Russia Dosti, the President Putin, Prime Minister Narendra Modi connection and them knowing each other goes back to 2001, where we have pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, perhaps as Chief Minister of Gujarat at that time, accompanying Prime Minister Vajpayee to Moscow. And at that time, it was Prime Minister Vladimir Putin, Boris Yeltsin was the president. They were sitting there signing documents, and Prime Minister Modi was present. So they go back a long way, more than 2.5 decades. Their association, their knowing each other, their friendship. And perhaps it's now ready to take it to the next level, where they have hinted at a no-limits partnership, where both nations will be committed to helping each other prosper.
Well, yes, that's right, Anand. In fact, you know, the sources are also telling us that wait for a few more surprises by tomorrow. So